Alright guys, welcome here to MBMB. This is Andrew. I forgot to do an intro for this video, but we just landed here, dropped off a lawnmower, a fuel drum. We're heading up to Malamanda to pick up some passengers that Brad and I were not able to pick up yesterday. And Andrew, he's one of our new pilots. He's on some observation flights for the next maybe 20 hours or so. So maybe about a week's worth of flying. And I think he's already starting up some of his ground stuff as well as one of our other training pilots as well. OSB 65908, November Tango Kilo, taxi.
Do you like to land 2-5? Do you take off 2-5 or do you go back the way you came?
Sorry. I like taking out this way because see the trees ahead of us?
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I find it easier taking off that way. You can see the low spots right there?
Yeah, stay out of them.
Yeah, see how it's low on both sides and it's nice in the middle? So we're gonna really focus on staying inside because it really sucks if you get stuck. I've been stuck a couple times. Not here, but almost stuck here. But when it floods, that's where it gets, and you can kind of see it's just kind of all black. So we're just gonna come down and just get maybe like 3 feet off, and then turn around and I'm just watching my tire here to see if it's sinking or if it's just catching up with grass, or did I just... OSB 6598, November Tango Kilo, taxi.
Go ahead.
November Tango Kilo, taxi, MBMB, Malamanda, 2 POB.
Tango Kilo, apologies, we still confirm, taxiing MBMB for Malamanda, 2 POB.
Affirmative, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, thanks.
Right, now we're just going to turn that off for now so I don't have to listen to the forever. Our fuel caps and our selectors are on, I should turn. Our controls I just checked. I turned off our terrain awareness system so that he's not yelling at us on takeoff. We're just going up under 5,000. It's just like a 13-minute flight over there, so 27 miles, not too far away. Our switches and instruments. Looks like our QNH should be around 80 feet, so it would have been like here, but 009. So I'm going to ask him once we take off if the QNH is a bit different. Maybe that's why I was coming in about 80 feet. I kept coming in low and I'm like, I feel low. Maybe it was because I was 80 feet low from what I was actually shooting for. Our flaps are set, indicated and verified at 20. Our trim, I'm going to just go right about there and go all the way for right rudder. We're 33 degrees out at sea level, so 33 is around kind of in between, so let's say 1550. So 1500 on the torque for takeoff. Ignition, inlet, and lights are done. High idle. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. 1500 on the torque, and rotate at 55 knots. All stations MBMB 126.7, November Tango Kilo, departing MBMB for Malamanda, below 5,000. Alright, here we go. I'm just going to pull it back pretty far at first, until we get going. There's 1500. Just initially, once it starts going, getting enough speed, then I start releasing a little bit of back pressure on it, and start fishing for where I want that to be. There's 55. Below the nose, get the speed up to 73, then climb on it at 73-ish. More over the trees, I'll go ahead and lower the nose. And get it on the big screen so we can see where I'm going. I turn off terrain so I can see. Alright, there's over 85. We'll go 10 degrees of flaps. We'll go 0. Once we're over 300 feet, we can start taking our flaps out. And we'll bring our prop on back. Alright, so again, we're not just flying with the magenta line, we're looking to see where we're going. So we know that that little mountain that's coming down, we're going to go around that. I'm pretty sure that's the... Okay, so there, we're looking actually for our valley to go in. So that takes us directly. We need to actually come down here more. Okay. So we need to fly to the end of these mountains way down there.
Oh, so the ones not these ones behind it, we're going to the back side of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Because those mountains is that right there.
Right. Okay.
This is where kind of this doesn't really help us out very much. And where we're always looking out like 20 miles to go, like, does this make sense on where we're actually trying to go?
So we're going to come around and then go down this valley right there?
That's right.
Okay.
All right, so because we're below 5,000, we're just going to go up to, let's just go to 3,200 feet. That's going to be our pattern altitude. And actually, I don't even think it's going to happen with these clouds today, to be honest, because they were at like 16 to 1,800 feet. But let's go ahead and bring our torque, because this is about where we're going to stay off for now, down to 320, just for a cruise.
Aussie and all stations, WEWAC on 1267.
And lots of regular out.
Departed, WEWAC 22, track 140, climbing flight level 270, and Mayu at time 48.
Orsby 6598, November Tango Kilo, departure. November Tango Kilo departed MBMB time 25, tracking 172. We'll be up to 10 miles right of track. Estimating Malamanda 38, below 5,000.
Kilo, KNX 1006. Confirm you copy that traffic for Malamanda Alpha Hotel Papa.
Negative, go ahead with Malamanda traffic, please.
Kilo traffic Alpha Hotel Papa, Cessna Caravan departed. For Malamanda trekking west towards Malamanda 6,000, Malamanda estimate 0031.
Copy, time 3-1 for Alpha Hotel Papa, November Tango Kilo. So it seems to always happen like with MAF.
Alpha inform departure, WEWAC 22, track 140. We're climbing flight level 270, standing by clearance, and Maui at 48.
For uniform,
right. So see these mountains here? I think those are right there. So we're just going to go around those and then cut up the valley.
The back side of this, or?
Yeah, it's going to be on the back side of this. That's what it looks like to me. And we can't see actually where we're going to be going.
Malamanda, Alpha Hotel Papa, 9 miles to the east, 4,000, circle Malamanda 30.
And Alpha Hotel Papa, November Tango Kilo, estimating Malamanda 34, and we're coming from the north at this time, and we'll be flying up the valley.
Copied, Alpha Hotel Papa.
Just need to let him know so that he can park in the parking bay.
So we have room for us.
The parking bay, yeah, if he parks and it doesn't leave room for us or whatever else, it just kind of makes it more of a pain.
Do you try to park on the runway if there's no one coming for the sake of it being drier? Because I noticed there we just turned around almost basically right where we landed.
Because we're the only ones that go there.
Oh, okay.
Like there's no other operators that even use it.
Got it, okay.
Malamanda, I do because the parking bay is really soft.
Okay.
And it's usually just nasty muddy there, so I usually just park on the runway. If there is a parking bay, and it makes sense for us to, but I would say the majority of the places we go to, we're the only operator that go there.
Okay.
But if there are other ones, for sure, then yeah, I will park in the parking bay.
Out of the way.
It's pretty rare that you go to a place and there's another airplane there. So while we're in like the lull of this, let's bring open Malamanda. So we're gonna just go ahead and preemptively close that. Malamanda, confirm it's Malamanda. So it's 2,150, so I've got 3,200 feet. The runway, it's a one-way strip, 08, 4% slope. It's very muddy here, like slippery muddy. So the pattern, we're gonna come a little bit further out and then come like have a long final with a really tiny little oblique kind of turn final at the last second over the hill. We're gonna be scraping these trees right here. We're 100% empty, so we're super short final if we needed to go around for any reason. It's gonna be a little bit of a steeper approach, just because it's kind of a shorter final. So here's what I'm talking about. We're gonna go right over here to these edge of this, scrape underneath of these clouds, and then head up the valley, because We need to go that way, and that's not going to work today.
No.
So
500.
autopilot off for a second. And we can land with 1 knot of tailwind if we were full up, so we can land with a lot more than that. But because we're going to be getting up in the valley and my workloads is going to go up because we've got traffic, I'm just going to hit my OBS now. Runway is 080. We're 5,500 pounds, so 64 knots. We're still at 64 knots. Our TAWS is off, our fuel selectors are good, our lights and inlet are good, and we just talked about our go-around. All right, there we go. So, you might find it more helpful to fly with the terrain, but for me, it just like, it mucks it all up, so where now I can't actually see where my light areas are. As you're starting to fly, start memorizing the terrain and your life will be easy, where if you were to come here the first time, you probably would have just gone that way and then realized,
oh, it doesn't work.
Oh shoot, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So start remembering these little things, and the more you fly on these same routes, because we've got so many of the same routes, then you'll start seeing trends and you're like, oh man, last time it really worked well when I did such and such and I went up this other valley. So I think I have to go around a little bit further.
Yeah, next one over.
Is it even that one? No, I'm looking for the river, basically.
River's right there.
Yeah, because see, this does not look like the one I want. Oh, it's further around that one. Or that one. One of the two. I just know this is not it.
Okay.
We got to go up to the river and then up. Okay. So I think we actually have to go around down there. Yeah, that looks... Because Malamanda's not up this one.
And see, we're having experience to know, like, this doesn't look right. Makes a big difference, too. Oh, that's trippy, because there is a river right below us.
There is. And that's where flying with this rather than this makes it easier, because you can fly with this, you can have it here,
but like, this not there.
Like this doesn't it doesn't have quite as much on here, where this has a lot more information. So for me, I'm like, I'm just looking for the green area with the river, where this you're kind of like, okay, my airplane says I'm there and it has a bunch of words all over it, so it's just a lot more for me, I think. Right, now I'm going to start climbing up to our pattern altitude, because I'm thinking that the clouds will eventually, they might be low right here, but the further we get into the valley, they should, because the space opens up more, the clouds should also rise more as well. Oh, I might not be able to get much higher than this right this minute.
When you're coming up to this guy, obviously we want to see terrain rising behind it.
That's right.
So we're going to clear it.
Nope.
Then are you just making sure it's clear on the other side?
500.
Go straight across without doing like ridge crossing technique?
Yep. If I can verify that it's good on the other side, then I just continue on. It's really when the clouds are really low and I'm not sure if I can get to the other side 100%. Then I do my ridge crossing. I get my 80-20 set up, slow down, get myself the time to think. Right, so we're going to follow this river up. There's a river down there, right?
Affirmative.
Okay. We'll follow this river up this time, and that looks like it goes right next to it, so this is looking a lot better. You can see, because the valley is so much wider, the clouds are just spread out on the sides. And once we get up to Malamanda, it's kind of a big bowl area, and I'm thinking that it should also clear out quite a bit more as well. We said 34. I'll call him up. OSB 65908, November Tango, Kilo revised estimate
500.
40. Oh yeah, it's definitely looking a lot nicer up there now.
500.
So we're just continuing along here with the river. Not up that way, even though I can't really see a lot up here. I'm just going off of what I see on the map. This very reason is why I don't like to go with my bare minimum VFR. Like, because we have extra mucking around to do because of clouds, and you don't really know. Like, it was showing that it was going to be like nothing out here. And the same thing with yesterday when Bradley
500.
came. We brought our minimum plus 50 extra pounds, and it was just, it wasn't enough to really shove our, we came all the way out to here and tried to work our way up this valley, but it was just rain and everything right here. And just didn't get down enough up in there either. All right, so I just bump a little bit of power up. All stations Malamanda, November Tango Kilo, 8 miles to the west, 2,500, circuit time 40, Malamanda.
Okay.
Oh, we want 64 on final, so 74 on base, 84 on downwind. We've got a little bit of tailwind right now, so we might have tailwind on final, potentially. All right, there's 3,000. We wanted like 3150 exact. Hop in harness. We'll get here in just a second. Here's the bowl I was saying. It's all opened up really nicely. It's good news. I feel bad to leave these passengers out here again. One more day.
Poor Jeremy.
I know, I'm sure he's ready to come home. Orsby 65908, November Tango Kilo, in the circuit Malamanda, report after landing. All stations Malamanda, 1267, November Tango Kilo, joining the circuit Malamanda. All right, well, there's our pattern altitude. We're going to try to touch down around the first cone in. That gives us 60 meters. I don't like to do it before that because you're just shortchanging yourself of if you have a downdraft or anything, you're just not giving yourself very much margin. I'm expecting to be potentially a little bit slippery, a little bit muddy. Might get some mud splashed on the windshield because it does that quite a bit here. And I'm just going to focus on maintaining center line. If I start to slide at all, I'm going to come out of reverse because it just exacerbates the issue. So I'm going to come out and then go back into heavy beta and then go back into reverse if I can maintain my center line. Prop and harness. We'll do harness here in a second. We have flaps to go. Alright, looks like Alpha Hotel Papa is on the ground. 10 degrees of flaps. Put a left rudder as we're slowing down. So if I'm straight and level with 10 degrees of flaps, 800 pounds is going to give me probably around 100 to 110 knots. Well, probably 110 knots. In the circuit, I usually bring it down to around 450 to start my descent. That's just good numbers to kind of search for if you're starting off and you're not really sure. Actually, it looks pretty dry out. So we'll go for the first cone in.
Just looking to see like if the dirt is dark versus light.
Yes. If there's any glistening from the sun. Looking for kids and pigs and things. It's kind of like a rally race here. They line up on the side, and as you're going by sliding, you know, 60 miles an hour. You're like, hopefully I don't slide off the runway here. That looks good. Wind sucks, just hanging there. The winds up here. I'm expecting some potential down or some tailwinds on final, but as we get short final, it should drop off.
Where's your turning final benchmark here?
It's like a base-ish final out there. It's not really a turning final. It's like I'll show you out here.
Yeah, like your spot that you say you always pick a spot to turn.
Yeah, there's like a low spot that I'm aiming for, and that's kind of where I do my last little turn. There's 20 degrees, I beam the numbers, and we're going to start coming on down. Lose 300 here, so 2,800. And then from that point on, I don't really care about really what my altitude is, just going over the trees. All right, let's go ahead and bring this on back. Around 450. Prop and harness is done. Flaps yet to go, and landing clearance we've already called. We'll call on the ground. We wanted 84, a bit fast. So there's a ridge coming out. We're gonna go past it and then basically follow the whole ridge up.
Okay.
You'll see how hard it is to actually maintain 64 knots in an empty airplane. Kind of a pain. And landing, you just need tons of right rudder pressure. Just get in the habit of just putting it in. All right, here we go. There's 2800. And now we're slowing to 74 and just continuing down about the same rate. We're going way over there, so it looks like my descent might just be a little bit too fast even right now. From this point, I'm just looking at the runway, kind of gauging what I want. I'm going to go full flaps now. We're heading for that lower spot up there.
Okay,
and slowing way down with power. Being mindful of not hitting any trees. So I'm looking at the trees, I'm going to be cleared. Now I'm looking at the runway to see where do I want to turn. I want to turn about right here. So it's going to be a little bit more of a descent coming down. 6 knots tailwind. Let's get my power out so I can get my speeds down. 4 knots tailwind. Up and off already. There's 750, but now we're back on our glide slope. I mean, 64 is going to be really difficult to slow down too. There we go. All right, there we go. Now it feels better. All right, we're continuing. We're committed. About 20 degrees of flaps. Sounds like really rough. It's like a rock base.
Yeah, so.
Moresby 65908, November Tango Kilo on the ground, Malamanda, cancel SAR.
November Tango Kilo, Malamanda SAR is terminated. Could you please confirm Alpha Hotel Papua is on the ground?
Affirmative, Alpha Hotel Papua is on the ground.
For Alpha Hotel Papua, Malamanda SAR is terminated.
Thank you, November Tango Kilo. Is my wheel gonna hit that thing?
Yeah, you're clear on this side.
Just gonna move it a little bit more. I'm not really in a position where he can get out if he wants to get out of here early. Oh, whoops, there we go. I just moved one of the... I just moved that cone way out of the way. Now I can park easier. That was my plan. All right, now he can get out. All right, guys, well, thanks for joining Andrew and I. Anyway, let's go ahead and shut down, and I'll throw the drone up for you guys so you guys can see a little bit around here at Malamanda.
Hey guys, well, we're out here. Everybody's loading up, putting the seats in. Andrew is. MF is just going to be taking off here in their caravan. I'm going to film that for you guys. It's a beautiful day. We're out of here, on to Wewak and then to Groka.